And move approval of the agenda. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Ando and Councillor McLaughlin. Any changes, additions, deletions? There being none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. There being no public participation, move through to the adoption of the minutes. Could I have Council move and second the adoption of the minutes? Thank you, Councillor Bain, and a seconder, Councillor Ando. Any additions, deletions, changes? I see none, and I saw none when I reviewed the minutes. Call question on the motion. Welcome. Come on in. I hope I'm not early.
Sorry, I'm kind of rolling between meetings.
No, that's absolutely perfect. We're just, I'm just calling a question on the motion of the minutes, and I'll just delay to see if there's any additions, changes, deletions on the public portion of the April 1st Committee
Could I
of the Whole.
go back with apologies, please, to approval of the agenda, which I do, but I'd like to make an addition to it, please.
Could we please complete the minutes first?
Certainly.
And then, with permission of
Thank you.
council, I will do that. So just call question on the motion. All those in favor of the minutes? Thank you very much. And with council's permission, can I go back? Thank you. Could I just see, I see some head nodding. I see consent through head nodding.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Having come from the Bear Smart Committee, I'd like to put an addition to the agenda where, not a report, but some immediate concerns.
Could I put it just under new
Excuse me.
business?
Yes?
They've just put a delegation
I know.
request through.
I know.
I just
I know.
wasn't sure if
That's
you-
Oh, okay.
But that's for next
Tuesday.
week.
I just
Okay,
wasn't sure if you
thank
said
you.
Could I just put it under new business?
Certainly.
And have you check in with us, please? Do with bear season. Okay, so what I'd like to do is have council move to accept the addition of the item 7A to the accepted agenda under new business, of item A being Bear Smart. Thank you, Councillor Bain, and could I have a seconder, Councillor McLaughlin, of that motion? Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimously.
Thank you.
If we can then move through the business arising, unfinished business to 7A, Bear Smart, and Councillor Ronsley.
Yes, some of this will be detailed next week at our meeting, but of immediate concern is, first of all, an appreciation for the volunteer recognition signal that was put up on Monday, thanks to acting chair, or what are you, acting manager, Will Emo. Thank you for that. There is some concern about they're being communicated to with the emails that have come here to the office. They are a confirmation that they are in the budget immediately for 2014 as a item. That's I felt rather confident, but they have, for whatever reason, nobody's pointing fingers. They don't know that, so they're very nervous about that. I will read.
If you could convey that we aren't
Will do.
able to convey that until council actually passes.
That's okay.
That finally,
That's
I would
okay,
say.
but
What do you
that
think?
it's there is immediate concern.
Okay.
But going back to the volunteers, they are indeed pleased to be volunteers
Yes.
and part of our greater volunteer team. But they're concerned between now and next week, when they will make a more detailed information to the council meeting. Their concerns are immediately about information that they are indeed part of the ongoing prove in past years, I think it goes back to about 2005, that they are indeed part of the recognition of the village as being established and ongoing. And they called it to my attention that of the only Bear Smart committee in the lower mainland, they are indeed volunteer. They gave their time as volunteers to bring us to that point. Other communities have hired extra people to do that at a cost to the community. They're very pleased to do what they do. They're very uncertain about the knowledge because of the changes and so forth. Nobody's pointing anything. So they need responses to previous emails that have come in. I think there are a good number of them. And so if you can in some way do that. And the other concern is that with volunteers being recognized this week in BC as a whole, they don't want anything for themselves. They really don't. But they are concerned that the volunteers have slipped into a crack, and we have not indeed, once again, no reasons needed and no fingers pointed, that we are losing the goodwill of our volunteers, which we know that we not only appreciate and recognize, but depend upon. I think I'd like to leave all the rest for next week.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you very much.
We will have that meeting noted on the agenda.
Yes.
For, good.
Yeah.
And that has to do with volunteers. And then the other point, and Ari, Mr. Savannah could perhaps help me here, and Mr. McGradu. But we did pass the provisional budget. And and I believe that in the provisional budget, the Bear Smart funds were there. So if they're asking when they can activate that, that's the key thing about a provisional budget, is it activates the year while you're in the year. So, yeah.
What we have in the provisional budget is a lump sum of the community grants. So based on the applications that we received, council would make the decision how much each agency gets within that budget.
They have not made formal application. They are continuing, so if I could get some clarity to take them back. In the past, they've had $500, I understand, 2013.
My guidance to you, since it'd be easier if you repeated what I said than you gave them advice. Up until half an hour ago, I had the grant stuff in my package, and I just took it out, so don't know whether it's in or not, but I'm going to presume it's not. We passed on the agenda we just approved, the municipal grants. So I'm sure as an exception, if they got it together, shall we say, and had it submitted next week, because I believe that staff is at the point of cutting checks when Haley returns to start funding the grant process.
Is there anything more concrete, Councillor McLaughlin, in terms of when, for instance, the Bear Smart Committee and any other committee of this?
I think that it's less about the money; it's the precedent. That the application date was months ago.
Yes, they weren't aware of that for whatever reason, that they had to apply. They thought they were just rolled over.
I believe that's the only one that's out there of all of our community groups. So
I believe there are 3 different committees, including the invasive species.
If I could just do a
Could you
point of
clarify that?
information. Yeah. Could you? That would be great. Mr.
Thank you.
Serrana and
One and all.
myself believe that they're on that list. But then we can make
Thank you very much.
Black and white is always good.
And it just, if they are, or whichever group is, does that mean that they can access that money before the final budget is passed?
Oh, here it is. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bear Smart program. And, nothing in 2014. 500 in the last 2 years.
They've been ongoing for 2 years. They said they had $500
Yes.
last year.
Yes,
I don't think they submitted
They
anything.
didn't submit.
No, they did not submit. They thought there was because there was one of the 3. Could you clarify that, Mayor?
Well,
I
I
don't know.
honestly think I'm going to ask Mr. McGrady to give me a hand here, but let me take a stab at it and give me a shout out if you need to. But I would say that I think protocol is so important, and so if they can communicate that they have not submitted and that was their oversight, that would be what I might recommend. And but that they have realized that there isn't an automatic this year. There isn't an automatic funding as had occurred perhaps in the previous year. I don't think it was automatic, but I don't know. I don't want to put words, but that I think if they just email. I can't say what council will say.
Of course.
Or how staff will guide us on that, but I think that if you can take that action forward, that they do need to apply.
I'll send you the
Invasive species.
I'll send you the application I've got.
We
Would you
did
send
not
that to
receive
Norma,
an
please?
application from them.
Yeah,
Give me a
but
chance
they
to
would have received an
smooth the
application
ruffled
from
feathers.
us.
They
Before
would
you-
have got,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You don't know,
actually.
you're not at the meeting.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Oh, okay, it
They
went by
had
e-post and
grants
website, but
awarded.
it didn't go directly to the.
No
clerk?
application received. Bear
Oh, no.
Smart Program
Okay.
500, Kelvin Grove Beach Steward. So never mind. It's there.
No, they,
No, it's not there,
It's not.
2014, it's the
What?
left-hand column, Joe.
it's not there. It's
So we're not
received in-
going on that basis.
You know, it's actually counterintuitive. so
I just, no, what I said was, we got grants were awarded in 2013, but in 14, we haven't received the
Correct.
application from Bear Smart.
So they did
Okay.
last.
Okay, so if we can,
No, because we started new process in terms of application, we didn't have this before.
no, this is a brand new process. So if that can be explained, that we have entered into a brand new process.
Invasive species. Invasive species isn't there either. Nor is the.
Councilor Ronsley, the issue here is more about protocol than the massive financial numbers, so it's late and.
The invasive species is not an internal
No.
group. And so the invasive species in the sea to sky, S2S, air quality, should be on a separate line, I would imagine, but maybe not, within the budget, but they perhaps are not. But they would be $323 each.
And Ruth's group, Ruth Simon's group.
Which group?
Ruth
Well, that's the
Simon-
S2S,
Yeah, same
S2S
thing.
air quality.
Air
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah. Oh, that's-
Okay, thank you. Can I s-
Okay.
Can I see
Yeah,
Okay, could you take, Councillor Ronsley, when you're checking on the Bear Smart, could you also take the Invasive Species Council, 323, and the S2S air quality, with council's permission to just review to see what, and then Mr. McBride can guide us as to how to bring that forward for council consideration.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move forward. There being no public present, we'll move through to a resolution to move in camera. So if I can, that the Committee of the Whole Council meeting of April 8, 2014 does close this meeting to the public on the basis of matters to be considered under the following section of the Community Charter 91. A part of a council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to or is one or more of the following. L, discussions with municipal officers and employees respecting municipal objectives, measures, and progress reports for the purposes of preparing an annual report under Section 98, Annual Municipal Reports. May I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Ronsley and Councillor Bain. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.